Hey everyone, what's going on? This is Bruce in the Bowski Studio. Too beautiful day to waste. I'm going to go try to find some painting inspiration up at a place called Kenilworth Park. So thanks for joining me. Real nice light going on right now. Just got to park the car around the corner here and we'll get out and walk around a bit. So I've been wanting to paint here for a little bit, and what I'm going to be trying to do here in July is I'm renting one of the cabins. I'm going to take you over to show you, and you can do different events. A lot of people do reunions here. It's a really nice park for that. But I'm going to be teaching a beginner oil painting workshop, a one-day workshop on the 16th of July here, and try out. I've thought about this since moving to the area a couple years ago. Just want to kind of get my feet planted before I started investigating all that kind of thing. And then we'll take a walk back to the water, but let's check it out. So from what I understand from the gentleman that kind of runs the place, this place used to be a Girl Scout, Boy Scout camp, and over time, I guess dwindling membership, they kind of gave up the property, and it's been running as this Kenilworth Park for Wilton residents. People have to pay, I don't know, a few bucks to get in if they're not. But here's the one straight ahead here. It's the one I'm renting on the 16th. I didn't think it was a bad rate, $75 for a day. And I have a 10-person limit on my class. Okay, I want to just take a minute while I'm walking back down the other way to the water. I want to apologize for not posting as frequently as I should. It just has been really hard with working full-time and making time to put out good content, and it's been kind of hard to focus on my painting. So of course, like I mentioned 1,000 times before, I don't want to just put out content, and I mean, I should in a way, you know, if I want the algorithm and all that to work, but I'm just concerned about offering quality content. So it is what it is. Bear with me. I'll get my feet planted. I have been doing some painting, some larger pieces like I talked about a while ago. Let's take a walk to the water. Just so peaceful around here. I kind of wanted to see about painting a scene up here and then come back when it's a little busy and try to drive interest in the workshop. So what I like to do when I do these workshops, of course, is collect some names and that sort of thing. So I do different type of ideas, like I want to do some teaching in my studio, some private sort of classes, try to drive some business that way also, and for different other workshops. And I want to apologize ahead of time if there's a little wind coming at me and my voice might sound a little weird. Sorry about that. I'd like to do eventually a outdoor painting workshop here, but I thought for the area that I wasn't sure how many artists are in the area that have a lot of their own equipment, and I didn't want to have a burden of trying to get them to go buy all this stuff and maybe not like painting. So the class I'm teaching on the 16th is going to be all materials included to give them a taste of what painting is and get them fired up for it. Okay, here we are. Here's this nice little beach here. Pretty nice. I wasn't sure of the lighting this morning for painting. It's kind of with places you have to kind of visit frequently to get a sense of what the light's going to do across the day. I could definitely see doing a plein air class here, and a lot of people I think would be into the view that's behind us here. This is normally not my favorite thing, but sometimes you can find that just a bit of quality light on a subject that can really make it a painting. So I'm going to poke around here and study a bit. It's little things as painters that we got to be aware of when we're painting a scene. Usually we're just going out painting and having some fun and trying to create a painting. And one of the things I've looked at these hills before, different light times, and they're so similar in height and shape. You'd really have to do some little creative license there to make that a little more interesting. So as you can tell, this video is going to be a little more, I don't know, a little vlog style mixed in with the painting. But what happens sometimes is you have a limited amount of time to go paint. a window of opportunity has opened up and you're just going to go and try to find something. But you may not also find the perfect thing that you want. Sometimes you just gotta, it's just about a little practice, getting out there, practicing capturing what you're looking at, mixing your color, so when later on you have more time in your adventures, you can have a little more skill built up to capture it. So far what's kind of holding my attention a little bit, you know me, with the buildings and such, that little cabin over there. This has always fascinated me too. When you get reflection from the sky hitting the water, the light going into the water, and shadows coming across the water. I've seen paintings done of that sort of idea and they're amazing, and I really applaud the people that can pull that off. All right, I'm gonna go get my stuff. Well, walking up to my car and looking back, I've also, over time, many different places. I like the idea of the trees in the front and looking through to the water. That might be interesting. And then the shafts of light on some of the tree trunks. Let's get down to the water and paint. So I walked in from over here, came around to take a look, and I think I'm going to be painting, I got an 8x10, so I'm thinking some kind of composition in there. Okay, I got all my gear set up. I'll show you that in a second. What I'm going to do now is just take one little tone. A lot of people will tone their board like a burnt sienna, pick a color. Everyone has different choices. I like to just sometimes with the landscapes get in there with the little ultramarine blue, sketch it out real quick for the light shapes change, because that's how you got attracted to the scene. You want to stick to that. And let me show you what I got going on in the palette. First, here's my setup here, and then there's the scene that I'll be painting. And this is a 9x12, and we have titanium white, ultramarine blue, cobalt blue, cad yellow medium, yellow ochre, vermilion, and alizarin crimson. Now, like I mentioned before, I don't have a microphone. The wind's pretty strong today, so I'll try to talk really loud, and I apologize in advance if some of it seems a little hard to hear. This video is going to be shot kind of I don't know what you would call it, combat style. I don't have a fixed tripod, just a way to reduce gear for today, but I'm going to try to like hold it in front of me and paint at the same time. I'm liking the compositional lines. Of course, I am going to blow the trees off the composition there. We'll just put some indicators of trunks for right now, so I get some compositional elements. And I would be paying attention if there's an equal number of tree trunks. I would make them unequal, things like that to be aware of. Just a few little indicators of the pattern of the tree, just give me some idea of how it's going to flesh out. Very windy here today, but pretty nice. You get just a few miles away, you know, get out of the open water area, and it's just a nice breeze. Get some of these rocks in. And this is how I normally would start paintings, with this little line. And depending on, like this is just kind of a white panel. I didn't tone it any tone. You can, and then wipe out your highlights to create the drawing. Subtractive kind of process. But I'm just doing it this way. There's many choices. Couple of rocks back here. We don't need to put the exact rocks that we see, of course. And then we got the little bit of reflection in the water right in here. And I like the color of that. I hope I can nail that with some yellow ochre. All right. And the reflections are not going to be perfect because it's a super windy day. You're not going to have a mirror reflection. Now you can block in with any tone and get the shapes, you know, with the actual local color, like an approximation. But I'm going to stick with blocking it in with the ultramarine blue. I think it'll be easier because it'll be one color you're working with, kind of thinned out. And for some reason you don't like what direction it's going, it's easier to correct that than have a bunch of wet paint on there with the actual lot of oil and stuff in it. So that's how I'm going to proceed on this one. Again, there's many ways you can pursue the initial sketch. So I'm going to continue on. I've switched to a size, what is this, size 6 bristle brush, and we're just going to slap in tones of the background trees. Just a little quick rendition, and with this breeze it should like set up pretty fast, evaporate I should say. We got the light. This is almost like a ball, that bush. I don't want it like perfect like that, but the idea that it's catching light on the left side. And then over here is trees in shadow, very grouped together, which is nice. Get our pattern going real quick. And you can see how the Gorilla Box, and depending how you set up your panel in here, this being a 9x12, you can catch the edges, which I don't like. It'll be interesting to see if I can capture the blowing little bits of the tree here, because the wind is howling. I don't even know if this footage is going to be any good. Okay, I'm kind of liking the composition. Get some paint mixed up here. This is going to be a down and dirty version of a painting, I think, with this wind. Wow. It is howling here, just howling. This is crazy. I had to weight down the box just to make sure it's not going to go anywhere. It is howling. Okay, here we go. Hi everyone. I just want to take a moment and interrupt this video to offer you, the viewer out there, a big thank you. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos, and as a thank you, I want to offer this painting, a 9x12, for $350. If you're interested in purchasing this piece, just let me know through the comments or through my Facebook page, Habowski Studio, or my email that's down in the description, and let's talk about it. Right now I'm going to pan in and show you some details of it. See if we can get a sky knocked in. Just some cobalt and white. Just mixing it up here. With this kind of day going on with the wind, I am not looking for quality of paint application. I just want to nail color notations and get something on the board. When I get back to the studio, I can revisit, or I can take this right here in the park, a quieter spot, and reestablish those colors in a more artistic fashion. Make it more interesting, whatever I need to do in terms of thickness of paint. And to be honest, I'm not a diehard. I'm not some tough guy plein air painter. This is, I feel like I'm at plein air boot camp right now. And you're like, hey, this is what it's going to be like. Can you handle it? It is whew, crazy, crazy. I think maybe I'll keep the directional lines to the left here. That kind of makes sense for the wind. Some of this might tack up right away. That green of the water getting chewed up there, that's going to be something to try to, and I don't want to get into cleaning too many brushes. I'm just wiping off some excess paint and diving in, using that sky color, just going for it. A little bit of that cobalt blue, see what we get for a green. Hey, that's actually not too bad. There's variations, but just scrub something in for right now. Kind of got a nice mid value there, so I can hopefully go back and forth. Now let's work on some main color there. That looks like some burnt sienna, ultramarine blue. Gonna go with a little vermilion. Mix it into that green a little bit. Pull it down just a hair, see what we got for distance there. Ooh, wow, way, way too dark. Okay, let's get some white. Ultramarine blue, a little more white, a little more ultramarine blue. I'm going to do a little alizarin next to where I just was to test. Still not blue enough. Okay, a little bit of slight rinse. Painting around the rocks a little bit. Some I'm painting over, but just trying to keep the bigger ones. Wow. Sometimes in the conditions like this, you may be like, whoa, it's really kind of, and you have to pack up. And what I'm going to try to do, just to try to avoid that, obviously, but I need to go ahead and start working on some of the tones of the greens. Just get those proper highlights on for the green, just indicate them where they go, and I can have some idea for true color later, rather than be so concentrated on the water and stuff that I forget what that looks like. Here's what's coming along. I'm working on the distant tree line, trying to keep it cooler blues. Working away. Still quite challenging. I haven't painted outside in like forever. Been doing a lot of studio work, of course, coming off spring, you know, the winter, but nice to be back out here. Sometimes what happens when you're painting in conditions like this, you can't really, it's sometimes hard to focus on multiple things. Like, of course, I'm trying to make a video for you guys, which I enjoy doing, but I also gotta try to pay attention to what I'm doing here so I can make it painting. I'll be going back and forth with that tone there where it's meeting the sky. That's kind of stuff you touch up later, and I'm just trying to honestly commando version this thing right now. It is whipping out here. Let's just try striking a couple stronger darks to, you see the boxes. Ooh, this box is pretty sturdy too. Wow. I feel like a freaking hurricane. Of course, you got the darkness along the shoreline, distant shoreline. It's coming along. Gotta do something about this sky. Gotta start suggesting those leaves. I'll work on that. I'll get back to you. Okay, here's what I got going on so far. Kind of been working on the highlights on the tree. Now I'm going to slap in some trunks so I can get that established. Try to cut some sky around so it makes a little more sense. It's a hot mess right now, but it's the way it is right now. Now I've mixed up some ultramarine blue, some vermilion, a little bit of yellow ochre. And when I'm putting in these tree trunks, I don't go back and forth. I commit, try to find a shape I like in that tree that makes sense for what I've already established also, and strike it. Turn the brush around, there's paint on the other side. Maybe it twists a little bit. Of course, we'll have to make limbs coming off to left and right. And all this time I've just been using turpentine to thin the paints. Maybe there's a few trees. I think I'm just going to keep 3, even though there's a pile of trees there. Kind of dictated by what I've already established for a little bit of tree shapes. I'm going to put part of one more over here so I have an asymmetrical number. I like that. We'll make this some other little spindly tree maybe. Okay. Wow, this is crazy windy, crazy. Check everything out. Look at the water behind me. This session's kicking my butt, and I think I'm almost going to blow my kid over a couple times, so I think I'm going to just work on doing a part here. I'll show you what that is and then pack it up, and we'll go over it later and have a little more adventure for the day. Woo! Down and dirty piece this one is. Wow, but this is what I got going. Nothing extraordinary, but I'm liking bits and pieces. Now I'm just going to work on cutting in some of the sky, shape this up a bit so it's not a hot mess, and call it good. I don't know if I'm going to go too technical with it, but because I don't want to mess up what I got, I'll cut in the major areas and see how it's shaping up. Not being out here in 1,000 years of all days, of all places, I should say. Oh, what are you gonna do? I think that's enough cut in. I did take a picture of the scene in case I really want to try to ramp it up, but that's it. Well, that was challenging. Holy cow. That was not what I expected. It really wasn't that super windy when I got here. It's amazing how fast it picks up. Reminds me of, I think it was last winter. We came out to visit my girlfriend's sister. They were ice fishing, and we walked out on the ice to go to the little shelter they were in, and holy cow. It was probably a little bit windier than this. It was crazy. So anyway, walking back to the car, and of course I'll pull it out later and see what it looks like away from all this high wind, and get back to the car and pack up. Okay, we're here back at the house, and was that windy at Kennewater Park. Holy cow. Now we're going to take a look at the painting and see what it looks like away from the scene. Time for the analysis. So overall, I'm hoping the GoPro kind of picks it up, but the overall tones of the piece, the values, I like a lot. And I can see that the reflection of the water needs to be more defined and make sense. That was a hard thing to capture. It takes a lot of study, a lot of time to interpret what's going on with the water, and that just comes from over time if you paint in water all the time, which I don't. But believe it or not, I kind of actually like the little bits of tree things I got going on. I'll define more of that later. Like I mentioned, I took a photo of the scene, so if I want to build on this, I can study what's going on and then work on it. Okay, so this is going to wrap up this video. Hope you enjoyed it. It's a little more kind of longer style, which I enjoy doing, taking on the adventure, showing you the ups and downs. And if you were new watching the channel for the first time, thank you very much. Appreciate it. And if you like the content, please subscribe. It'll let you know when I post new videos. And for everyone else, thank you for supporting me over this time that I've been doing my channel. Now it's time for a swim in the nude pool. See you in the next video.